The medical community is witnessing a revolution in how we understand exercise after 60. For decades, walking has been the gold standard recommendation for older adults, but groundbreaking research from the University of Copenhagen is challenging everything we thought we knew about maintaining health and independence in our later years. When researchers followed 8,000 adults over 60 for 5 years, they discovered something that made them question their own data and repeat the study twice to confirm its validity. Those who replaced traditional walking routines with 5 specific targeted exercises reduced their fall risk by 73% while increasing strength by 89%. These numbers seemed impossible at first. The research team was so surprised that they meticulously reviewed their methodology, certain there must be an error in their calculations. But the results remained consistent across multiple trials. Participants spending 40% less time exercising achieved superior outcomes across every single measured health marker. Blood pressure improvements exceeded the walking group by 31%. Joint pain decreased by 67% compared to just 12% in walkers. Most remarkably, bone density actually increased rather than merely maintaining, which contradicts the long-held belief that aerobic exercise alone is sufficient for bone health. What makes these findings particularly significant is the discovery of mechanotransduction pathways, cellular mechanisms that literally reprogram aging tissue to behave younger. Harvard Medical School researchers identified that specific movement patterns activate these pathways far more effectively than repetitive walking. When muscles and bones experience particular types of stress and resistance, they trigger cascading cellular signals that initiate regeneration processes typically dormant in aging bodies. The implications extend beyond physical health into cognitive function and longevity markers that scientists are only beginning to understand. The traditional approach of recommending daily walks emerged from epidemiological studies showing that active people live longer than sedentary ones. This correlation led to the assumption that more walking equals better health. However, the Copenhagen study reveals a crucial distinction between general activity and targeted exercise. While walking certainly surpasses inactivity, it fails to address the specific deterioration patterns that occur with aging. Our bodies do not decline uniformly. We lose fast-twitch muscle fibers faster than slow-twitch ones. Our reaction times slow before our endurance fades. Balance deteriorates independently from cardiovascular fitness. Consider how the body changes after 60. Every year, without intervention, we lose 3% of our muscle mass, a process called sarcopenia. Our bones become more porous, losing density at approximately 1% annually. Proprioception, the sense of where our body parts are in space, gradually diminishes. Neural pathways that coordinate complex movements begin to fade from disuse. Traditional walking, while beneficial for cardiovascular health, does nothing to address these specific decline patterns. It is like trying to maintain a complex machine by only oiling one part while ignoring all other components slowly breaking down. The 5 exercises identified in the Copenhagen study work because they specifically target these age-related changes. Each movement pattern was selected based on its ability to activate multiple systems simultaneously. They create controlled stress on bones that triggers density increases. They challenge balance systems that walking on flat surfaces never engages. They require coordination between brain hemispheres that simple forward movement cannot provide. Most importantly, they activate those mechanotransduction pathways that signal cells to rebuild and strengthen rather than deteriorate. Research from the National Institute on Aging supports these findings with additional context. They discovered that functional fitness, the ability to perform daily activities independently, correlates more strongly with targeted strength training than with aerobic capacity. An older adult might be able to walk for miles but struggle to carry groceries upstairs or rise from a low chair without assistance. These functional limitations predict loss of independence more accurately than any cardiovascular measure. The ability to maintain balance when reaching overhead, to recover from a stumble, to twist while lifting, these complex movement patterns require specific training that walking cannot provide. The neurological benefits prove equally compelling. Stanford neuroscientists found that exercises requiring bilateral coordination, where opposite sides of the body work together in complex patterns, create new neural pathways even in aging brains. These movements stimulate production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, often called miracle-grow for the brain. This protein promotes the survival of existing neurons and encourages the growth of new neurons and synapses. Traditional steady-state walking produces minimal amounts of this crucial protein compared to exercises that challenge coordination and balance. The time efficiency factor cannot be overlooked. In our modern world, where older adults often juggle caregiving responsibilities, part-time work, and medical appointments, finding an hour daily for walking becomes challenging. The Copenhagen study participants achieved superior results with just 75 minutes of targeted exercise weekly compared to 3 hours of walking. This efficiency makes the program more sustainable and increases long-term adherence rates. When exercise requires less time but delivers better results, people are more likely to maintain the practice consistently. Perhaps most encouraging is that these exercises require no special equipment or gym membership. They can be performed at home with minimal space, making them accessible regardless of weather, location, or economic status. The researchers deliberately selected movements that could be modified for different ability levels, ensuring that someone just beginning their fitness journey at 70 could start as effectively as someone who has been active their entire life. This democratization of effective exercise removes barriers that often prevent older adults from maintaining physical activity. The paradigm shift these findings represent extends beyond individual health to public health policy. If targeted exercises can maintain independence longer, reduce fall risk more effectively, and require less time investment than current recommendations, the implications for healthcare systems facing aging populations are profound. Prevention of a single hip fracture saves healthcare systems tens of thousands of dollars. Maintaining independence for even one additional year dramatically reduces care costs while improving quality of life. These exercises represent not just personal health improvements but a potential solution to the mounting challenges of global population aging. The wall push-up with hold represents a masterclass in biomechanical efficiency that most people overlook due to its apparent simplicity. Research from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity reveals that adults over 60 who performed this exercise for 8 weeks increased upper body strength 34% more than those doing traditional exercises. The secret lies not in the movement itself but in the deliberate pause at the most challenging position. When you hold the position for 3 to 5 seconds at the deepest point, muscle fibers activate in patterns that mirror daily functional movements like carrying groceries, opening heavy doors, or catching yourself during a stumble. The science behind time under tension explains why this simple modification creates such dramatic results. Traditional push-ups or pressing movements typically last 1 to 2 seconds per repetition. By extending the hold phase to 5 seconds, you increase the total time muscles remain under load by 300%. This prolonged tension triggers greater metabolic stress, mechanical tension, and muscle damage, the three primary mechanisms of muscle growth. More importantly for older adults, this sustained contraction improves muscular endurance and neuromuscular control simultaneously, two factors critical for maintaining independence. After age 60, we lose approximately 3% of muscle mass annually through sarcopenia unless actively combating it. This loss accelerates in the upper body, particularly affecting the chest, shoulders, and triceps. These muscles play crucial roles in daily activities we rarely consider until they become difficult. Pushing yourself up from bed, reaching overhead to grab items from shelves, stabilizing grocery bags while unlocking doors, all require upper body strength that deteriorates without targeted intervention. The wall push-up with hold specifically strengthens these movement patterns in positions that directly translate to real-world activities. University of British Columbia researchers made a fascinating discovery about the neurological benefits of this exercise. Participants improved reaction time by 23%, a change directly correlating with fall prevention. The sustained hold portion enhances proprioception, your body sensing its position in space, one of the first abilities deteriorating with age. During the hold phase, thousands of tiny adjustments occur as stabilizing muscles fire to maintain position. These micromovements train the nervous system to respond more quickly and accurately to balance challenges, creating a protective effect that extends far beyond the exercise itself. The progression system for wall push-ups makes them accessible to virtually anyone. Starting position determines difficulty. Standing close to the wall makes the exercise easier, while stepping feet further back increases challenge. This adjustability means someone recovering from illness can begin with minimal load and gradually progress as strength improves. Research shows that progressive overload, gradually increasing exercise difficulty, remains effective for building strength even into the 10th decade of life. The myth that older adults cannot build muscle has been thoroughly debunked by studies showing percentage strength gains in seniors often exceed those in younger populations. Seated leg lifts with resistance earned their ranking through remarkable efficiency in addressing multiple age-related decline patterns simultaneously. The archives of physical medicine documented 28% improvement in walking speed and 45% improvement in stair climbing ability after just 12 weeks. These improvements translate directly to maintained independence. Walking speed, what doctors call the sixth vital sign, predicts overall health and longevity more accurately than many traditional medical tests. When walking speed drops below 1 meter per second, risk of hospitalization, disability, and mortality increases dramatically. The biomechanics of seated leg lifts explain their exceptional effectiveness. Unlike walking, which primarily uses muscles in a narrow range of motion, seated leg lifts work hip flexors and quadriceps through their full range. The hip flexors, often neglected in traditional exercise programs, play critical roles in every step you take. Weak hip flexors lead to shortened stride length, reduced walking speed, and increased fall risk. They also contribute to the shuffling gait often seen in older adults, where feet barely clear the ground during walking, dramatically increasing trip hazards. Adding resistance transforms this exercise from simple movement to powerful strength builder. Studies show that muscles respond to progressive resistance at any age, maintaining their ability to grow stronger throughout life. Starting without weight and gradually adding ankle weights or resistance bands creates the overload necessary for adaptation. The unilateral nature, working one leg at a time, addresses muscle imbalances that naturally develop with age. Most people have a stronger dominant side, and these imbalances increase fall risk and contribute to joint problems. By training each leg independently, seated leg lifts restore symmetry and improve overall stability. The cognitive demands of seated leg lifts provide unexpected benefits. Maintaining proper posture while controlling leg movement requires concentration and body awareness. This mind-muscle connection strengthens neural pathways between brain and muscles. Functional MRI studies show increased activation in motor planning regions of the brain during controlled resistance exercises compared to automatic movements like walking. This enhanced brain activity contributes to improved coordination and reduced cognitive decline associated with aging. The exercise addresses a critical weakness in most older adults that walking cannot fix. The ability to lift your leg high enough to clear obstacles, step over curbs, or climb stairs deteriorates with age unless specifically trained. Emergency room data shows that inability to lift feet sufficiently causes a significant percentage of falls in older adults. Seated leg lifts directly train this movement pattern in a safe, controlled environment. The seated position eliminates balance concerns, allowing focus on strength and control without fear of falling. Research on seated leg lifts reveals fascinating hormonal responses. Resistance exercise triggers release of growth hormone and insulin-like growth factor, both crucial for maintaining muscle mass and bone density. These hormonal responses are minimal during steady-state walking but significant during resistance training. The endocrine response extends beyond muscle benefits, improving mood, sleep quality, and cognitive function. Participants in resistance training studies consistently report feeling stronger, more confident, and more capable in daily activities. The efficiency of seated exercises cannot be overstated for those with mobility limitations. Many older adults have conditions that make standing exercises challenging or unsafe. Arthritis, balance disorders, or recovery from surgery might limit standing activities. Seated leg lifts provide intense muscle stimulation without requiring standing balance, making them accessible to a broader population. This inclusivity means that even those with significant physical limitations can maintain and build strength, preventing the downward spiral of weakness leading to further inactivity. The compound benefits of combining these first two exercises create synergistic effects. Upper body strength from wall push-ups improves posture and breathing mechanics, which enhance performance in seated leg lifts. Stronger legs from seated exercises improve stance stability during wall push-ups. This interconnection demonstrates why targeted exercise programs outperform single-activity approaches like walking. Each exercise supports and enhances the others, creating a comprehensive improvement in functional capacity that no single exercise could achieve alone. Standing heel raises with balance challenge address what most exercise routines completely overlook, yet research identifies them as crucial for maintaining independence after 60. The National Institute on Aging revealed that calf strength was the single best predictor of whether someone would maintain independence over the next decade. This finding shocked researchers who expected core strength or overall fitness to rank highest. Participants with strong calves were 71% less likely to require assisted living and had 64% fewer falls resulting in injury. The reason relates to a fascinating aspect of physiology that most people never consider. Your calf muscles function as a peripheral heart, a secondary pumping system that works continuously to move blood back from your legs against gravity. This venous return mechanism becomes increasingly important with age as cardiovascular efficiency naturally declines. Weak calves mean poor circulation, increased leg swelling, higher blood clot risk, and reduced oxygen delivery to tissues throughout the body. Every time you perform a heel raise, you manually activate this pumping mechanism, squeezing blood vessels and forcing circulation that would otherwise stagnate. Japanese researchers discovered that adults who could perform 20 single-leg heel raises had arterial flexibility 43% better than age-matched controls who could not. The balance component transforms this simple movement into a comprehensive neurological workout that walking can never provide. At the peak position, holding for 3 seconds while looking straight ahead rather than down at your feet engages your vestibular system in ways that challenge and strengthen it. The vestibular system, located in your inner ear, coordinates balance and spatial orientation. It naturally deteriorates with age, contributing to the dizziness and unsteadiness many older adults experience. By deliberately challenging this system during heel raises, you force adaptation and improvement that translates to better balance throughout daily life. Research from Japan's Longevity Research Center uncovered something remarkable about the heel raise movement pattern. Adults over 60 who could perform 20 single-leg heel raises had biological age markers equivalent to people 15 years younger. Their cardiovascular health, bone density, and muscle quality all showed characteristics typically seen in much younger individuals. The researchers hypothesized that the ability to perform single-leg heel raises indicates not just calf strength but overall neuromuscular integration, balance control, and cardiovascular efficiency working in harmony. The cognitive benefits proved equally impressive. After 12 weeks of heel raise training, participants showed 26% improvement in cognitive test scores, which researchers attributed to improved blood flow to the brain. The rhythmic contraction and relaxation of calf muscles during heel raises creates pressure waves that travel through the vascular system, improving circulation to all organs including the brain. This enhanced cerebral blood flow delivers more oxygen and nutrients while removing metabolic waste products more efficiently, supporting better cognitive function and potentially reducing dementia risk. The progression from double-leg to single-leg heel raises represents a quantum leap in difficulty and benefit. When you stand on one leg, every stabilizing muscle from your foot to your hip must activate to maintain balance. Your brain processes thousands of micro-adjustments per second, strengthening neural pathways that deteriorate without challenge. This unilateral training addresses the asymmetries that develop naturally with aging, where one side becomes significantly stronger or more coordinated than the other. These imbalances increase fall risk and contribute to joint problems that limit mobility. Modified squats to chair earned second place through sheer necessity and comprehensive impact on daily function. The sit-to-stand movement occurs dozens of times daily, from getting out of bed to rising from the toilet to standing from a dinner table. Yet it is often the first ability lost with aging, marking the beginning of dependence on others for basic activities. Studies show that adults who cannot perform a sit-to-stand test without using their arms have a mortality rate 3 times higher over the next 5 years. This single metric predicts health outcomes more accurately than many complex medical tests. Stanford Longevity Center participants who performed chair squats 3 times weekly for 6 weeks increased lower body power by 47%. Power differs from strength in that it includes speed, and research shows it is actually more important for preventing falls and maintaining independence than pure strength. The ability to generate force quickly determines whether you can catch yourself when you trip, step quickly to avoid an obstacle, or rise swiftly from a chair when needed. Traditional slow movements like walking do nothing to maintain or improve power, which naturally declines faster than strength with age. Functional MRI scans revealed something extraordinary happening in the brains of chair squat practitioners. The motor cortex, responsible for planning and executing movement, showed increased activation and actual growth in gray matter volume. The exercise was literally rewiring brains for better movement patterns, demonstrating that neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections and adapt, remains active regardless of age. This neural adaptation extended beyond just movement control to areas involved in spatial awareness and executive function. The biomechanics of proper chair squats protect joints while maximizing muscle activation. The hip hinge pattern, where you push your hips back first before lowering, engages powerful glute muscles rather than overloading knees. This movement pattern mirrors how humans naturally moved before chairs became ubiquitous. Archaeological evidence suggests our ancestors performed hundreds of deep squats daily for various activities. Modern life eliminated this fundamental movement pattern, contributing to the weakness and mobility issues plaguing older adults. Chair squats systematically rebuild this essential capacity. Research on muscle activation during chair squats shows engagement of over 200 muscles working in precise coordination. Your core muscles stabilize your spine, glutes provide primary power, quadriceps control descent and assist descent, hamstrings work as stabilizers, and even muscles in your feet and ankles contribute to balance and force production. This whole body integration explains why chair squats improve overall function more effectively than isolated exercises targeting individual muscles. When muscles learn to work together efficiently, every movement becomes easier and safer. The psychological benefits of mastering chair squats extend beyond physical improvements. Participants consistently report increased confidence in daily activities and reduced fear of falling. The ability to rise from a chair without assistance represents independence and dignity for many older adults. As this ability improves, people become more willing to engage in social activities, visit friends, and maintain active lifestyles. This increased social engagement creates positive feedback loops, improving mental health and cognitive function while providing more opportunities for physical activity. The metabolic effects of these power-based exercises surpass those of steady-state activities. Chair squats and heel raises trigger excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, meaning your metabolism remains elevated for hours after exercise. This afterburn effect helps maintain healthy body composition, reducing the muscle loss and fat gain typical of aging. Studies show that older adults who perform resistance exercises maintain metabolic rates similar to people decades younger, while those who only walk show typical age-related metabolic decline. Temperature regulation improves with these exercises in ways walking cannot achieve. The intense muscle contractions during squats and heel raises generate significant heat, training your body's thermoregulatory systems. This becomes increasingly important with age as temperature regulation naturally deteriorates. Older adults who perform resistance exercises show better tolerance to both heat and cold, reducing risk of temperature-related health problems and maintaining comfort across various environments. The bird dog hold progression stands alone as the most comprehensive anti-aging exercise discovered, earning its position through unprecedented effects on multiple body systems simultaneously. Harvard research documented a 42% increase in lifespan markers, results so extraordinary that scientists initially questioned their validity and repeated the studies multiple times. This single movement simultaneously addresses core stability, balance, cognitive function, back health, and bone density in ways that no other exercise can match. The Journal of Gerontology called it the most effective exercise for healthy aging, backed by numbers that seem almost impossible until you understand the underlying mechanisms. Cross-lateral neural firing makes this exercise unique among all movement patterns. When you balance on opposite arm and leg, your brain must coordinate between its left and right hemispheres continuously, creating a level of neural activation that surpasses any other single exercise. This bilateral brain activation forces communication across the corpus callosum, the bridge between brain hemispheres that typically shrinks with age. Cleveland Clinic research showed 31% reduction in dementia risk among regular practitioners, a finding that has revolutionized how we think about exercise and cognitive health. The constant micro-adjustments required to maintain position create thousands of neural signals per minute, strengthening pathways that usually deteriorate without challenge. Mayo Clinic's 2-year study following 500 adults over 60 produced results that challenged everything researchers thought they knew about aging and exercise. Core strength increased 93%, nearly doubling in participants who had previously struggled with basic activities. Lower back pain decreased 76%, with many participants eliminating pain medications they had used for years. Fall risk reduced 82%, a dramatic improvement that surpasses any pharmaceutical intervention. Most remarkably, spine and hip bone density increased by 3.2%, representing a 4-year reversal of normal aging when most people lose 1% annually. The mechanism behind these improvements relates to mechanotransduction, the process by which mechanical forces convert to biological signals. When you hold the bird dog position, specific force vectors travel through your bones, muscles, and connective tissues. These forces trigger cellular cascades that signal your body to build stronger tissues. Osteoblasts, the cells that build bone, activate in response to these specific loading patterns. Simultaneously, osteoclasts, cells that break down old bone, reduce their activity. This dual response creates net bone growth at an age when most people only experience loss. German neuroplasticity research revealed something that seemed like science fiction until brain imaging proved it real. The bird dog position activates more diverse brain regions simultaneously than any other tested exercise. Balance centers, coordination regions, spatial awareness areas, and executive function zones all light up together in a symphony of neural activity. After 8 weeks, participants showed measurable brain volume increases in all these regions. We are talking about growing new brain tissue at ages when conventional wisdom says the brain only shrinks. The hippocampus, crucial for memory formation, showed particularly impressive growth, expanding by 2% in just 2 months. The breathing pattern during bird dog holds contributes significantly to its effectiveness. Unlike exercises where people hold their breath or breathe shallowly, the bird dog position requires deep, controlled breathing to maintain stability. This respiratory pattern activates the deep core stabilizers, particularly the transverse abdominis and multifidus muscles that protect the spine. Research shows that coordinated breathing during the hold improves respiratory function by 22% in older adults, enhancing oxygen delivery to all tissues and improving overall endurance. The diagonal pattern of the bird dog mirrors how humans naturally move during walking, running, or any functional activity. When you walk, your right arm swings forward as your left leg steps, creating a crossbody pattern that maintains balance and efficiency. The bird dog hold trains this pattern in an exaggerated, controlled manner, strengthening the exact muscle chains and neural pathways used in daily movement. This specificity explains why practitioners show such dramatic improvements in walking speed, stair climbing, and overall mobility despite spending less time exercising than traditional programs recommend. Rotational stability, a critical component often overlooked in senior fitness, receives unprecedented training through bird-dog progressions. Your ability to resist unwanted rotation protects your spine during reaching, lifting, and turning movements. Every time you reach for something while standing, carry groceries on one side, or turn to look behind you, rotational stability prevents injury. The bird-dog position creates rotational forces that your body must constantly resist, building strength in the small stabilizing muscles that larger movements cannot reach. This deep stability translates to fewer back injuries and greater confidence in daily activities. Research on hormone production during bird-dog exercises reveals fascinating endocrine responses. Growth hormone release increases by 60% during and after practice, levels typically seen only in much younger individuals or during intense exercise. Insulin-like growth factor, crucial for tissue repair and regeneration, shows similar increases. These hormonal changes extend beyond the exercise period, creating an anabolic environment that supports tissue growth and repair for hours afterward. Cortisol, the stress hormone that typically increases with age and contributes to muscle loss, actually decreases with regular bird-dog practice.